The first step in the direction of unity is understanding that it's all about what God wants and not what we want. Romans 12, where we're going to spend the majority of the time, 1 through 2, says this: I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, in mercy of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Something that I've noticed, and maybe you noticed as well, churches in our area, and I'm only going to talk about churches in our area because I haven't been to churches outside of the state too much or across the world. They don't all look the same and act the same, right? You can go to the church across the street. We might have the same message, but the way that it looks, the way that they practice is slightly different. But within those churches, the biggest gap or divide between inside of those churches, every single church in the United States, is the generational gap, where the older generation wants to play on stage the music that they grew up listening to. And then you have the next generation or the younger generation. They want to sing the songs that are being playing now because that's what they have connections with. The older generations, they grew up dressing a little nicer than I am on stage. They had the suits, they had the tie, and they did that because they wanted to dress up for God. That was their act of worship. I'm going to look good on Sunday morning. If I'm going to worship God, I'm going to look my best. And that's on. And then you have the other side, the younger generations want to come and they want to dress down because they want to be welcoming and they want to allow people to come as they are. But there is a point where the older generations and the younger generations get to the point where they think to themselves, the other generations or the other people aren't doing real church, or they're dishonoring God because they didn't do something. Whether it's they didn't dress up, or they didn't sing the newest stuff and they were singing the older stuff, or this is the worship space or the sanctuary as they used to call it, and they how dare you bring coffee or drink inside this place? Basically, I experienced God one way, and I felt it. Like I experienced Him, and I want everybody to do it this way because I experienced this way. And if you don't do it this way, you are missing something. The first step in the direction of unity is understanding that it's all about what God wants and not what we want.